Zara, and I don't know, Trish knows, I've always been really fascinated with food and, you know, over the years and just how I feel, you know, on every different level, just from, you know, putting really high quality foods into your diet and, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, and that's how I want to be. But I really resonate with this workshop. It's my first time taking it, but just even reading the overview of how she laid it out, I'm like, this is the workshop I want to take. It's really thorough, it seems really thorough, and I just want to go deeper, you know, even get to the next level. Always keep stepping it up. I know. So it's fun to keep learning and learning things. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Great, thanks, Sarah.
I'm Wendy, and food's always been important, and it's definitely a journey. When I think how I cooked years ago when my children were young, I wouldn't think of putting that kind of food on the table anymore. But, you know, it's a path, and I want to be more aware of what's good for me as I age, and to feel better as I get older and be healthy. So food is the key.
Yeah, it is key.
Well, I'm Trish, and thanks, Wendy. I love doing this because it keeps me on my toes as far as researching more, and you know what, I've always been, you know, since I was a teenager, trying to wean myself, because I grew up on fast food. My folks made awesome, authentic Philippine food, but then, you know, the moment we were able to say, my dad would say, oh, well, what do you want, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, you know, here we are. And of course, we're like, Taco Bell was my favorite. So I grew up for some time eating, you know, that diet. And then when I started to think for myself, you know, I started to wean myself off of meat. You know, I was reading about all things that happen to meat or animals, and got into the tofu stage. And just like Wendy, it is a path, because I think of myself back then, and I was like, okay, weaning off of that. But then I started to go further into it as I learned more and applying more things, like coming off of soy and tofu, going into tempeh, going into being a vegan, going into coming back to eating high quality meats and poultry and eggs, into really infusing my diet with lots of superfoods and spirulina and cacao and MSM and a whole nother level, right? And I know for me, I feel amazing when I'm having a real relationship with what I'm choosing to put in my body. Two, when I feel the results of what I put in my body. And three, how it affects how I evolve consciously. The food, I can attest that the quality of food that comes into your body determines the quality of your ability to really discern and receive deeper insight into life in general. It's very much related to the development of consciousness. And if we go back to our first workshop and think of the SAD diet, the standard American diet, and think of the dulling down and the dumbing down of our society, there's a definite link to food and conscious awareness, to food and the ability to actually stand up and do something about what you see as wrong in society. So that's why I do this, because I do believe that if people are empowered in the fuel that they put into their body, and really learn how to support the body systems, that you can do whatever you want. You can manifest the life and the health that you deserve. So welcome.